I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a master's. I did graduate from University of Illinois in '91 with political science. But I am the children you're trying to help now. 5th generation, first to go to college. 5th generation, first to go to college. Here's another statistic. How many of you are the first to go to college in your families? Shocking! Look around. Not enough of us are raising our hands. However, the good news is, you know the secret to all the issues in the world. 0 to 8. 0 to 8. Every child should have the same education, 0 to 8. It's child abuse if we don't give those children preschool. It's child abuse because you've already sealed their fate. If they're 2 years behind in kindergarten, when do they catch up? When do they catch up? Here's another shocking statistic, and then I've got to leave you because I'm supposed to be here somewhere at 11. I love you guys. But 75% of our kids that are incarcerated in the juvenile justice department, which is one of my school districts too. I love those kids. In fact, we need to put more money into that system because we're not doing what we need to do there. 75% of those kids will have children that are incarcerated. It's a shame. And the only way we can change this, listen to me girls, because it's going to be the women that change the world, is that we get our kids educated earlier. We devote the money that we need to early childhood education, regardless of kids' skin color, regardless of how much money their parents make, regardless. Remember, at conception, we were all the same. How did we get so different? We all deserve the right to a fair and equitable education. And all the other things in society would clear up. 0 to 8. You guys are awesome. You're doing what I need help with, but you need to spread the word. We need to get on this Capitol next year and be so big and have so many stakeholders in education. Early education. We're the last ones we hear from. No one hears from the early education as much. That's why I love you guys, and I love this lady. Because she's like, that's one of my passions, that and special education. Okay? 1 out of 54 young boys being born today has some form of autism. 1 out of 88 young girls or kids have autism or a spectrum. You gotta watch special needs too, you guys, because our kids are incarcerated because there's a learning disability. Okay? They're not criminals. They're not criminals. Those children cannot be criminals. Okay? So help me get out there. I'm preaching from my end, preach from your end. Get your elected officials to understand. You can solve all of the world's issues. 0 to 8. 0 to 8. Now get out there. I love you. Have fun. Don't knock on my door. You already saw me today. No, I love you. You guys can come by anyway. Take care. Senator. He's got to be a senator.
It's good, right? We have friends down here, powerful friends. I hope you get that and care a lot. And then secondly, I'd like to introduce Representative Daniel Biss, who's from the 17th District, which is actually kind of the Evanston-Skokie area north of Chicago. And we've had a lot of changes in the General Assembly, and there are a lot of newer elected officials. But we're out there early on, talking to them, finding people like Representative Biss who already think this is the right idea. And we know that he's going to continue on in his career down here and continue to be a real loud spokesperson for this issue. And we wanted to give him a chance to say good morning too.
Thank you, Irita. So yeah, I'm new, and it's like my own early childhood education as a legislator. It's begun a year ago. I don't chair the education committee like my fantastic colleague Linda does, and I don't need to teach you about the issue. First of all, because you're all here in yellow t-shirts, and second of all, because Linda already got the job done talking about the logic and the science and the reasoning of what happens if we put the money where it needs to go, where the returns are the greatest, what that does down the road for equality, for justice, for broadly shared prosperity, all that stuff. We heard that. What I want to tell you is that for you to be here in the yellow t-shirts, in the Capitol, banging on our doors, whether or not we want you to, especially if we don't, by the way, and making that argument as human beings is what's needed. We sit here in this Capitol and we talk about a lot of numbers, a lot of very, very big numbers and a lot of even bigger negative numbers. We talk about $33.5 billion in revenue and $6 or $7 or $8 billion of unpaid bills, and we talk about an appropriation of this for $350 million, and for that of $2 billion, and we talk about an $88 billion pension debt. And I'm a mathematician, so I love doing that. It's great fun. That's great weekend activity. But on the weekdays, when we're working, we have to remember not just numbers, but human beings. And when we sit in those rooms and manipulate those numbers and forget that they're about human beings, that is the quickest road to making the wrong decisions possible. And we need you here to teach us and argue with us, and also to remind us about what those numbers mean, what our priorities are, what an investment today means for our whole community tomorrow. It is because of you that we're going to make better decisions. It's because you're not just going to be here today, but you're going to be calling us in our district offices, and your friends are going to be doing that too, visiting us when we're at home, calling us here, and making sure that we never forget, as we're making these decisions that have a huge impact on the lives of human beings, why we're here, what matters, who sent us here, and how to get it done. Thank you very much. You're going to do a great job today, and I really appreciate the work you do.